I was commissioned to do a carving of an old-time seaweed harvester, raking rockweed into a skiff. In this video, I'd like to show you how I go about making the skiff. The wood comes from an old black cherry tree that stood on the property and had fallen during a storm. My first task was to choose the wood I would use and saw it, cut out the defects and so on. I'm just showing you how I go about making this model of a skiff. It's probably not the way that more detailed and accurate boat building model people would do it, but it works for me. First, I cut the wood into thin strips using my table saw. Then I established the basic dimensions and shape of the boat using wood strips and attaching them in place. When I say a skiff, I'm referring to a boat that looked almost like an oversized canoe made with wood strips. It was popular in our area from about the late 1800s up into the 1960s or so. Once I've established the basic shape for the boat, I go about making a framework to build the boat around. I cover the framework in plastic wrap so that the glue I'll be using in the future doesn't stick to the frame. Next, I make the stems and keel. A small bandsaw and belt sander really save a lot of time. I drill holes and nail these in place. I use clamps to hold the thin strips of wood in place and then glue them with CA glue. I also use wood glue, and I hold things in place sometimes with hot glue where I can't quite get a clamp to do what I want. I didn't soak the wood in boiling water or steam it or anything. It was thin enough to mostly bend, but in some cases I would sand it on the belt sander to thin it out just a bit more so I could bend it easier, especially near the bow and stern. It takes a bit of fiddling around to get the wood strip in just the right place, and each piece has to go in one at a time, so this project takes a while. This boat will be the stage that will set the scene for this carving, and I'm a lot more interested in how it looks as compared to being an accurate representation of what the boat originally was. I'm using the CA gel, but I don't have the activator, so once in a while I use the hairdryer just to speed up the setting a little. A rotary tool comes in handy for fitting things in place. Once I have all the pieces in place, I remove the internal frame from the boat. I clean up the inside, removing any residual glue or whatever. I use epoxy resin to strengthen the stem area. Where I didn't heat the boards in hot water or steam them or anything, I got a little bit away from the frame I had built. And the boat is just a little wider than what I had in mind. So I brushed it with hot water and put it in a vise to reshape it a bit. While it dried, I cut narrow strips for making the ribs, the internal ribs of the boat. These I did soak in boiling water for a bit because they do need to bend at quite a steep angle. I bend them and clamp them in place while they are wet and then let them dry. I remove the clamps, apply wood glue, and then clamp them back in place for the final setting. I used the same approach to glue the inside gunnels of the little boat in place. Then I glue the outside gunnels or outboard in place, and I make a little cover for each of the bows or stems. The sander helps clean things up. And I add a false stem to give me the look I'm after. Here's the completed little skiff. It's about 18 inches long. And here's how it looks in the finished carving. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.